People think that it's smart to drive the third shot if the ball is hit short in the court. What we have to remember is it's all about the trajectory of the ball. So it would be smart if the ball bounces high above the net and is short in the court to drive that ball. That's because we can hit that ball down or at least parallel with the net. The third shot drive mistake that I'm referring to is when people hit a drive on the third shot just because the ball is short in the court. We have to remember that if the ball is below the net tape, it's always a good idea to drop it rather than drive. This is because if you drive a ball below the net, it can only go up from there. So your odds of hitting the ball long or right to the sweet spot of your opponent are a lot higher. A lot of the time as a beginner, we think that it's the smart plan to just keep dinking in the same exact spot over and over and over again. What we need to realize is we should be focusing on, one, that we're hitting it to our opponent's weakness, and two, that we're moving the ball around so that we don't become predictable. Avoiding this mistake will not only help you become less predictable, but it will help you to win more. Hitting out balls. So this is probably the most common mistake that I see with beginner players. A good tactic to use so that you avoid this altogether is the quote, "If it's shoulder high, let it fly." So anything shoulder high and above is probably going to go past the baseline. So it's a good rule of thumb. So next time you're out playing, avoid hitting out balls by not hitting anything that's above shoulder height. The fourth common mistake that I see with beginner players is they speed up a ball that's in the red zone. So what is the red zone? The red zone is anything below your waist. So if a ball bounces below your waist, that also means that it's below the line of the net. So you can only hit it up from there. The reason you want to avoid speeding it up from this position is because chances are you're either going to hit it long or it's going to set your opponent up for a perfect smash. The fifth beginner mistake that I see very often is that when beginner players are playing in the wind, they'll continue to miss the same shot over and over again and not make the correction. So the first thing that I do when I get out on the court and it's windy is I figure out where the wind is blowing. Once I have figured out where the wind is blowing, and let's say that it's blowing to the right, I'll tell myself, I'm never missing to the right today, meaning I'm not going to miss out wide. This will help you be way more consistent in your play and the wind won't bother you nearly as much. Another common beginner mistake that I see is beginner players will play down to their opponent's level. In practice, you might be dinking, hitting third shot drops, and just in general playing really smart pickleball. But then you get into a tournament and you match the energy of your opponent. And maybe you're playing a banger, so then you start banging. So the way that we can avoid this mistake is by telling ourselves to play our game and not our opponent's game. Unpopular opinion, but I think with the shake and bake, you're losing more points than you're winning. The reason for this is you can't always control where your drive goes. A lot of the time it'll be slightly high, making it really easy for your opponent to hit the ball right at your partner's feet. So what I like to do instead of a shake and bake is a solo shake and bake, where I can set up the play and put the ball away. So what is a shake and bake? A shake and bake is where you're serving the ball. You serve the ball to your opponent. They return the ball. On that third shot, you hit a drive and your partner rushes the net to hopefully put the ball away. A solo shake and bake, in my opinion, is better because based off of your drive, you can decide to either run forward and put a volley away or stay back and hit an effective fifth shot drop. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. Make sure that you're following Pickleball Playbook for daily tips and drills, and I'll see you guys on the next one.